The boss jock
What the hell just happened?
has entered the building. You are listening to the Sportcat Show.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
It's Friday!
Finally. Yes, it is. It is Friday. We are, I don't know, we're here. I hope everybody's had a great day, great morning, and we're going to start off the show with a bang. Well, I think we already did, me pushing the wrong damn buttons. I have one job. I'm to push button. That's what I'm supposed to do, but apparently I'm not good at it. All right, everybody on Australian Radio X and Dare Talk Radio, welcome. And come join us. Yerg's Radio, come over and join us. And I know I am being broadcast on several YouTube pages, but my algorithm is being pushed down because of things I say on the Sportcat shows. So I need you to find that hyper whatever button it is on the screen. Come give us a thumbs up, a love by subscribing and join our chat. We got some great people. We got Denise. Denise is always here. She brightens my day. And then we have Wendell. So he aggravates me sometimes, but yeah, he's here. Let's see. Chris is in there somewhere. There he is. Hello, Chris. Good morning. Yeah, he was following us over on Radio X and Yerg's Radio talking about sports. And yeah, they just want to take our money. They don't seem to care about us. Chris says another NFL money grab this year. They are already adding full commercials to the red zone. Really? Wow, I didn't know that yet. So it's a pay service and had marketed itself as 7 hours of commercial-free football since 2009. I did not know that. Of course, I haven't been home to watch Red Zone yet. So Denise says the popcorn is ready. Man, now you're going to make me hungry. So, all right. Well, we're glad you're here, Denise, and enjoy your popcorn. Hopefully you put a little cheese and extra butter on it. So let's see what we got here. Well, we are running way late today, but that's okay because it's Friday. We're just going to do what we do. Here on the West Coast, it's 13:30. Where the hell am I? I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Tennessee. Jesus. It's 13:34, which is 1:34 for you civilian folks. Over in Australia, well, good morning. It is, what is it? Let's start with, it's 1:34 a.m. in Perth. Usula is 2:19 a.m. This is all tomorrow. Darwin is 3:04. Sydney is 3:34. Lord Howe, you got things under control there at 4:04. I don't understand how we got 1:34, 2:19, and then we got 4:04. I'm so confused. But here, this will work better. Well, no, hold on. This will work better. There's the sun. It's bright and sun and shiny here. There's the moon. It's nice and dark tomorrow there. How's that? Is that better? All right. So, all right, let's go back over here. Today, September 5th, it is a full moon. And this weekend, in case you're not ready, it is a blood moon. I don't know if you have to go out and drain your Euclids. I don't know what the hell you're supposed to. We have one every month, right? Am I not crazy? I mean, we have one every month. So right now it's a waxing. Yes, Wendell, I am always confused. I think that's what makes part of this radio show fun is half the damn time I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't understand why people listen, but hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for taking a trip inside my mind every few hours during the day. So its current phase tonight is waxing gibbonous phase, visible through most of the night sky. It's setting a few hours before sunrise, and it's this is the phase where the moon is more than 50% illuminated, but not yet a full moon. So it's going to last about 7 days, which I think ends on Friday or Saturday. I don't know. We got one of them moon things coming up. Every month we have one. So, well, thank you, Denise. I appreciate that. It means something. It really does. Some days when I'm having a bad day, coming on here and just kind of bitching makes me feel better for no apparent reason. Let's see. What did Chris say? By the way, I was shocked to hear Ross say he would sit on the first base side at a baseball game. I would only sit as far as left as he possibly could. I'm just going to leave it alone. All right. So if you want to go out and see the brightest part of the moon, apparently it's at 9 p.m. wherever you are. So you've already missed it in Australia. You'll have to catch it tomorrow. You'll catch it before us. But as you can see, yeah, I guess it's setting over there for you guys. So yeah, there you go. All right. So I like this map for no reason. All right, let's get into what we normally do here. Let me move that over there. We don't need to see that. What do we need to see? Let's do a little on this day in the world. How about that? Today in history, the Great London Fire, 1666, fire breaks out and finally bring 1666 fire breaks finally bring the Great Fire of London under control, leaving 13,200 homes destroyed with only 8 dead. That's a surprising number. That is a very surprising number. 1774, 12 of the 13 American colonies accept a train embargo against Great Britain at the First Continental Congress in Carpenter's Hall, Philadelphia. And Chris, he would be sitting there with a pizza box, as long as it's on his lap. 1781, a French fleet of 24 ships under Comte de Grasse defends British forces under Admiral Thomas Graves, Samuel Hood at the Battle of the Chesapeake. It's the Battle of the Virginia Capes, and traps General Lord Charles Cornwallis during the American Revolutionary War. Interesting. 1839, the First Opium War begins between Britain and the British Empire after the Qing dynasty of China. 1958, the first color video recording on magnetic tape is presented in Charlotte, North Carolina. Wow. 2017, Hurricane Irma becomes one of the most powerful hurricanes ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin, with winds at 185 miles an hour. Wow. Today in sports, 1972, 11 Israeli athletes are taken hostage and later killed by the Palestinian group Black September at the Munich Olympics. So, did you know that German Christine Hart patents the first modern brassiere September 5th, 1889? Wow. So they just kind of hung free before that? I don't know. That's probably a misogynist comment, but yeah. Louis the Fourth, his birthday is today. Archduke Charles, Jesse James, Amy Beach, John Cage, Paul Voiker. Is that right? No, wrong. What the hell did I push that button for? Go back. Well, I guess I can do it this way. All right. Where were we? No, let's go back because I like that other one better. It's pictures. Pictures are better. Celebrity birthdays. Bob Newhart. Anybody remember Bob? I loved the Newhart show. It was funny. He was when you could be comedy and it was simple stuff. So let's see. Let me catch up in the chat here. I don't know who's been seeing that picture of Pizza Box. Denise said they still hang free. Well, hey, I'm all for it. So Raquel Welch. She was such an American treasure. She was beautiful. Freddie Mercury. Queen, I think. Michael Keaton. Like Michael Keaton. Rose McGowan. She's 52. Wow. Fun fact of the day. Russian Tsar Peter the Great imposes a tax on beards. Oh, that sucks. Famous wedding, 1725. French King Louis the 15th marries Polish. It's right there beside it. It's pretty when you let them do it. Polish Princess Marie Leszczyńska. Yeah. 1945, American songwriter Bodily Bryant weds aspiring songwriter Matilda Scaduto, whom he called Felix 5 days after meeting in Newport, Kentucky, until his death in 1987, 1959. Oh, wow. American motorcycle daredevil, Evel Knievel. Wow. And so, wait, he married, I'm sorry, Linda Joan Bork. I used to really like Evel Knievel. 1980, didn't he get in trouble for killing a midget or a small person, person of less stature and height? 1980, a famous divorce. American lawyer Kathleen St. John divorces best-selling author Michael Crichton after 2 years of marriage. The Suleiman the Magnificent, he died in 1566 a day. Crazy Horse, Rudolph Virchow, Francis Ford, Mother Teresa. I thought she died yesterday, right? And she's so famous she could die twice. Phyllis Scalti. The Battle of Chesapeake Bay was one of the most decisive battles of the world. Before it, the creation of the United States was possible. After it, it was certain. Jesse James, is he a hero or a cold killer? Hailed by some as a folk hero and others as a cold-blooded killer, Jesse's one of America's most famous outlaw. He was born on this day. All right, so interesting. All right, let's go to the next one. We went ooh shiny there for a minute. So let me catch up in the chat too. Chris says Jim McKay was the one to report the number of those athletes. He said they're gone. They're all gone. So sad to see that clip. Wow. Yeah, well, all right. So 1638, King Louis XV ascending the throne at just 4 years. He was the king of France from 1643 to 1715. He was called the Sun King because he made himself the center of French society and life. He built the Palace of Versailles, instituted the Edict of Fontainebleau that effectively removed Protestants in France, and ruled for an unparalleled 72 years before succumbing to gangrene in 1715. So from the time he was 4 to 18, was there an auto pen back then? Asking for a friend. 1869, and then when he got over 60, construction of Neuschwanstein Castle begins. Construction of the castle begins in Füssen, Germany, perched on a high ledge above the it's in the Bavarian Alps. The construction of the castle was originally ordered by Bavarian's King Louis II, also called Mad King Ludwig. The project was abandoned after the king's death in 1866. Walt Disney later used the castle as a model for the 1959 film Sleeping Beauty. Crazy Horse, he dies at Fort Robinson, Nebraska, following an altercation with a guard who stabbed him with a bayonet. A Lakota leader, Crazy Horse had long resisted the encroachment of American settlement on indigenous land and fought in the Battle of Little Bighorn in 1876. After a harsh winter, it devastated his tribe. However, Crazy Horse agreed to the surrender in 1877. Freddie Mercury, he was born today, and he was born in Stonetown, Tanzania. Singer and songwriter, he rose to fame as the frontman for Queen, where he penned his hit Bohemian Rhapsody and Somebody to Love. Two absolute great songs, legendary songs. 1975, Lynette Fremont, no, there's no she's Lynette Fremont, attempts to assassinate President Gerald Ford. Why would you attempt to assassinate him? He was only president for like 6 months. Lynette Squeaky Fromm attempts to assassinate President Ford in San Francisco. A former member of the infamous Manson family, she claims she wanted to kill the president because Ford had relaxed provision in the Clean Air Act, but had forgotten to load the chamber of her .45 caliber pistol and the gun didn't go off when it was fired. Wow, I'd never heard that story. I wonder if she had chambered the round. I wonder if the plot would have been successful. 1986, I remember this. Terrorists hijacked Pan Am Flight 73 for Palestine. Terrorists hijacked Pan Am Flight 73 while the plane stopped in Pakistan. Nijad Bahanat, the head attendant on the flight, was able to warn the crew. She and other flight attendants hid the passport of Americans who were the target. In the end, 22 people were killed, including Banat, and 150 injured before Pakistani authorities were able to regain control of the plane. Yeah, that was a bad day. That was a bad day. I think that was the last one. I don't recall that there were any more. Let me catch up in here. And Chris says they had a leader at age 4. We can't seem to elect a president until they're almost 80. Maybe somewhere in between is the sweet spot. I can't argue with that logic. So, and Wendell says, I have to go. I hope I can get back before I destroy the show. Wendell, it was already a train wreck, so come on back. Anytime, be fine. I'm sure I'll be screwing it up. You got about 2 hours. Well, we'll see. I'm in a mood today. It's National Chianti Day. That's a wine, I guess. National Food Bank Day. National Lazy Moms Day. Hey, wait a minute. Do I get a day? Can I be a lazy dad and then do get another day for being a lazy granddad? Okay, and then maybe one for being a lazy fireman. We'll see. National Be Late for Something Day. Hey, well, I started that off, right, by being late for the show. It's National Cheese Pizza Day. Is this where Chris is going to tell me that Chicago pizza is the best? Is this where we get into that discussion? Notable birthdays: Lester Allen Pelton, American inventor of the water wheel, which is the hydroelectric water wheel. We mentioned the outlaw Jesse James. Amy Beach, the first successful female composer of large-scale art music, never could learn to read music. Arthur Nielsen, and I still haven't learned Morse code or sign language. 3 things I'd love to learn, but I'm old. Arthur Nielsen, founder of the AC Nielsen Company, the Nielsen Ratings. Bob Newhart, the multi-award-winning actor and comedian. He could get dirty too, but you didn't see much of that. Chris says it's the best, but no pizza is really ever a bad thing. Yeah. Well, Chicago's the deep crust, right? New York's the thin. So I'm pretty sure it's correct. And I would have to be a Chicago guy. So Claudette Colvin, civil rights activist, arrested at 15 for refusing to give up her seat on a bus to a white woman 9 months before Rosa Parks. Wonder why she didn't get famous. Michael Keaton, well, we know him as Batman. And, well, he was also Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice and Jack Frost. 1774, the First Continental Congress assembles in Philadelphia, and the city of brotherly love was once our capital, starting today. We talked about the soldier bayoneting crazy chief, the Sioux chief. 1882, the first Labor Day parade is held in New York City. Do they still have Labor Day parades? I think the only ones they got now is Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then we blow fireworks up on the 1st. So President Roosevelt declares that U.S. neutral at the start of WW2. 1958, the first color recording. Was it a VH? It was a beta probably back then. 1961, President Kennedy signs a law against hijacking. 1976, The Muppet Show. Oh man, I love The Muppet Show. That was a good show. Who was your favorite character on The Muppets? I guess mine would have been what was the drummer? Fonzie? No, that wasn't a drummer. Animal. He was one of my favorites. You could never understand him. He just mumbled incoherently and punched things. So I was looking for. I used to have a sound effect for an animal. What the hell? What the hell? I've lost all my buttons. You gotta stop updating things. Michael Keaton, most underrated movie role ever was Night Shift with Henry Winkler. He is brilliant in it. He may even be his first major role. I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot that. What was the subplot in that? That was a good movie. And wasn't he also in a movie where he was a tenant and he built like a fortress to lock out everybody else in the house? He was like renting the basement or something. Yeah, that was, I think that was him. The Muppets. The Muppets. Huh? I want cheese pizza now, so I'm on a mission. That'll be today. Watch this. I'll do something stupid. Mom, give me a cheese pizza. I can only do that today. Tomorrow it is. It's the International Day of Charity. Let's see. National Beer Lover Day is Sunday. I don't drink beer anymore. I used to like hoppy things. And was that it? That's all this thing's good for? Well, all right then. What did I write the button? Oh no, wait a minute there. National Cheese Pizza Day. Bring Your Manners to Work Day. And Ma Wild Day. It's a religious holiday. It's National 401k Day. National Act Dumb Day. I'm good at that every day of the week. National Be Late for Something. National Cellulite Day. Why does cellulite have to have a day? National Chianti. I pronounce it wrong. Child Protection Week. That's always a good thing. Food Bank Day. National Lazy Moms. National Shrink Day. So if you are a mom, you can be lazy, late, and go see your shrink today while eating cheese pizza. There you go. So they were pimps working out of the corner. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That was a good movie. I liked it. That was one of the, that was, God, I'll have to go back and look that up. That was an oldie. All right, today is the 248th day of 2025. 17 days until autumn begins. Question of the day: can you please tell me where I should go to see the horns of the moon pointing up? Okay, anybody know? We got the full moon harvest day, which is also known as the corn harvest day, and it's the blood moon day. Well, September 7th, that's over the weekend. It's Grandparents' Day. Hey, do I get anything for that? So, all right. So, where can we go to see the horns of the moons pointing up? My guess, Australia. And the answer, it's around 18 to 28 degrees north latitudes, because the horns point directly up, happens just after sunset in the west, near the horizon of the waxing moon. Okay, tell me where the hell it is. Southern Florida. Oh, that sucks. I had that wrong. All right, well, next question. Chris, nope, ain't happening. I'm not gonna try and pronounce that one. Got nothing. And I think it means it's a fear of big words. So did I click the button? It doesn't tell me what today is. Well, today is the best day to castrate your animals. What the hell does that mean? There we go. The fear of Friday the 13th. All right, there you go. It's the fear of Friday the 13th. Chris, if you can successfully pronounce that and send it to me in a sound file, I will gladly send you a Sportcat patch. So let's see. Have we done with this page? It's time to plant vegetables in containers. Yeah. The fall harvest. Well, we're starting to think that way. Well, they're saying that it's going to be cool and dry through most of Maine, down into the Ohio Valley, and a little bit of the Chicago Midwest region, where it's kind of split between normally warm days and cool, dry days. And of course, the deep south, which is always known as below Atlanta, straight across, which actually evens out with Louisiana. Well, it's supposed to be near normal, perfect precipitation. And let's see here. What else? All right, we talked about the moon phase. It is almost a full moon. Well, it's a blood moon. I don't know. It's a full corn moon on Sunday. So there you go. Sunrise and sunset. Oh, okay, we can pick all that. All right, cool. Succotash. I've never had. Oh, yeah, I've had succotash. Pumpkin burger. No, thank you. Maple squash pie. Yeah. Chris says that word looks like when my parrot used to walk on my keyboard. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it. I couldn't pronounce that one if I tried. I could use Google to translate it for me. There we go. I can do that. Let's see. It is. Oh man, we got into some technical things. We saw that puzzle today. Oh, what state is the beaver state? It's Oregon. We I think everybody knows that. Record temperatures today. The high for today in 1925, Centerville, Alabama was 112. The temperature in Portland, that was in 1925. The temperature in Portland, their high was 102 in 1944. Where's the record colds on today? All right, I think I pushed a button too soon, but we'll get through it. We'll make it work. Today is this weekend is the corn moon. It's the full moon in September. So feast your eyes on the corn moon. Make sure you put your corn out in the front porch for the corn gods. So are you feeling hungry? The full corn moon rises on the evening of September 7th, 2025. Why do we call it the corn moon? Well, it's the best time to view the corn moon. I don't know. Well, answer the question. When to see it? Well, we know it'll be at its peak, 2:09 p.m. Eastern. Well, it's at its peak during the day, we can't see it on September 2nd. So, here we go. Why do we call it the corn moon? Well, late summer into early fall corresponds with the time of harvesting corn in much of the northern United States. For this reason, a number of Native American people traditionally use the same variation of the name, corn moon, to refer to the moon of either August or September's. Now, there's examples of a corn maker moon and corn harvest moon in Dakota. Corn maker moon. What is it? Moonshine Day? Alternate names: the autumn moon, the falling leaves moon, the leaves turning moon, moon of brown leaves, yellow leaf moon. Well, the behavior is also a common theme with child moon, referring to the time when young animals are weaned, mating moon, and rutting moon, describing the time of year when certain animals like elk, moose, and deer mate. All right, so there you go. Don't forget, it's corn moon. Set your corn out on the front porch for the moon god to come, or they'll shame you or something. I don't know. Usually the moon rises about 50 minutes later each day, but around the time of the autumn equinox, it rises around 30 minutes later in the United States, even less in Canada. Frost occurring in the dark of the moon kills fruit buds and blossoms, but frost in the light of the moon will not. What? Okay, well, I guess it's a good fact to know. All right, so we'll just go on from this because we're done with this. Here's some history we like. This comes to us courtesy of our friends at WSB in Atlanta. Today in history, well, if you've ever had a night out drinking or you're on vacation in the South, you've been to a Waffle House. Well, 70 years ago today, Waffle House opened their doors. For decades, Waffle House has been serving us scattered, smothered, covered we've all come to love. On Friday, it celebrates its birthday. 70 years ago today, 1955, Joe Rogers Sr., Tom Faulkner founded the beloved restaurant at 2719 East College Avenue in Avondale Estates, Georgia. I've been to it. That was near my fire station. Rogers and Faulkner's were neighbors. Rogers worked for the Tuttle House restaurant chain while Faulkner was in the real estate business. The two men decided their city needed a 24-hour restaurant, and Waffle House was born. We're not in the food business, we are in the people business, is what Rogers would always say. Under Rogers and Faulkner's leadership, the chain grew to 400 restaurants by the end of the 70s. They stepped out of the day-to-day running the business later that day, but Rogers and Faulkner died just a month apart from each other in 2017. Waffle House has become a national treasure since it first opened. It now operates more than 1,700 restaurants in 25 states. What was life back in 1955? Well, Dwight Eisenhower was president. The Cleveland Browns were NFL champions. We're sorry she needs to hear that. She probably wasn't born. They were champs. Minimum wage was $1. Wow. New car costs an average of $1,910. Hell, you can't. That's a car payment. While a new house costs $10,950. Shit, you can't buy a car for that. Movie tickets were 75 cents, and drivers paid 23 cents a gallon for gas. Wow. Of course, the food was cheaper. Here's a look back at the menu prices in 1955. Coca-Cola, 10 cents. Hash browns, 20 cents. Waffles, 40. Eggs, 40. Filet mignon, $1.50. Wow. Wow. So, all right. Well, happy birthday, Waffle House. Is there a Waffle House in this area? I don't know if one in Knoxville. I need to Google it. I don't recall seeing a Waffle House in Knoxville. I really don't. So, okay. Well, this was sent to me by an alert fan. The Trump Doctrine on Drugs. It's a political cartoon, and it shows no, don't leave the site. Hold on, cancel. What the hell are you doing? Why is it trying to leave my studio? I didn't tell it to do that. Stop that. What? Am I still alive? Yeah, I'm still alive. What the hell? It tried to hit my studio on its own. All right, so the picture drawn is a narco-terrorist speedboat being cut in half by a missile. So, yeah, that's pretty much the Trump doctrine. We like to blow shit up here in America. It was breaking news as we were coming on. Fire damages a Vista Stadium concessions building in Spokane. Fire broke out at the Vista Stadium earlier this morning, affecting the concessions building next to the stadium. The fire started overnight at 2:30 a.m. with flames visible and part of the structure collapsing. The Spokane Fire Department is on the scene, reporting that no injuries to the incident due to the intensity of the blaze. Fire crews had allowed the fire to burn through the roof before addressing it directly. Well, that's partially true. They probably let it burn through the roof because the fire was above their head when they went in, and there's a void between the roof and the subroof of the interior structure. And then there's another void for the subroof and the ceiling for lighting. And also, if you look behind the parapet there's probably big, large AC units sitting on top of that. So you have void spaces you can't reach, and you have fire-rated wood for 12 minutes with a couple tons on it. Add some water, and you're just looking for the roof to fall in on you. So it's not exactly the correct headline. I give you behind the scenes. So yeah, it was burned. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, we don't want to hear you. We just want to see you. So just show the fire. I want to see the fire burn. He looks so serious about, hey, wait a minute, he's got my mustache, Dick. I don't have the chin strut though. So yeah, they got their pretty little sticks up. That's what we call the ladder trucks. And we always love to say, when the sticks go up, the building comes down. But when the sticks go up, that's probably because it's probably best to let it burn at that point. Because really, I mean, as bad as the sound, its insurance is going to push a bulldozer through it and start over. That's what they do. They're paid to do that. Well, how do I get out of this? So yeah. So there you go. In Spokane, Washington, the stadium is burning. It's burning pretty damn good. So hopefully by now they have it under control. But they were working it this morning, and I guess I'm going to have to exit this to get back to that. Yeah, probably not. All right. Well, there you go. What team is that? It was a landmark stadium. With the baseball season ending, there are no more home games. Regional air quality is expected to worsen for neighborhoods southwest of the stadium. Yeah, that's new. Spokane Indians released a statement around 7 a.m. The main concession stands at Avista Stadium caught fire in the early morning hours Friday, September 5th. No one was injured. The fire was contained to the main concession stands. Our many thanks to the City of Spokane Valley Fire and Spokane firefighters who have been on the scene since early this morning. All right, so there you go. The Spokane Indians, you can't get your corn dogs. All right, so this is the statement this is the story that's going to get me pissed off today. Under the "what the fuck are we doing" category, a police department in Michigan has introduced a uniform patch that has Arabic writing on it, prompting fierce backlash. Dearborn Heights Police Department is believed to be the first in the country to have a patch with a language other than English. Reports indicate the patch was designed by Officer Emily Murdoch, who claims to have created it to reflect and honor the diversity of our community, especially the many residents of Arabic descent who call Dearborn Heights home. No, and no. What are we doing? The patch includes the Michigan seal in the center with the words Dearborn Heights Police Department written in both English and Arabic. It was introduced under the authority of the recently appointed police chief Ahmed Haddad. The Dearborn Heights Police Department is proud to share the new optional patch. Well, that's good to know because you're not forcing your officers to wear it, that our officers may wear as part of their uniform. By incorporating Arabic script alongside English, the patch represents unity, respect, and our shared commitment to service. Our officers proudly serve all members of our community, and this new design is another way we continue to celebrate the rich cultures that make our city unique. The department quickly disabled comments on Facebook due to an influx of negative feedback, including accusations of promoting Sharia law and enabling cultural takeover. That seems pretty logistical to me. Dearborn Heights has a combined Middle Eastern and North African population of around 40%, while nearby Dearborn has a majority near 55%. Both areas, along with the towns such as Hamtramck, have attracted Arab communities with immigration from Lebanon, Yemen, and other Middle Eastern countries. The Islamization, well, they're trying to make it into their culture. Why the fuck do you come to our country and want us to change for you? When we come to your country, we have to observe your cultures, your rules. So when you come here to get away from that, why do you come here and want to change everything? If you don't like it here, maybe I'm a racist redneck, go home. There's a reason you came to the greatest country in the world. Stop fucking with it. So it's the first Muslim majority city in the United States. Yay. Sharia law. Dearborn Police Department's got a patch. Oh, look. I don't see one damn American flag in there. And that's the United States. Yeah. Well, any of our longtime listeners know that when I was a flight paramedic, I had a run in with Homeland ICE when we landed in Puerto Rico, and the officer kept talking into the radio, talking about me. We were being detained because the vessel didn't have the proper clearance. What happened was the captain forgot to hit send after he completed the forms at the FAA. When we landed, well, we were all detained, and this one officer and I kept getting into it because he wanted my patient who couldn't walk to get out of the jet. And I tried to explain to him in a nice, kind, tactful manner that he couldn't use his legs. We were a medical flight. There was a reason he was on a bed. And every time he keyed up that radio, he would speak in, I guess, Spanish, and more people would show up and they would all be questioning me. Finally, after about the fifth time of trying to plead my case and explain to him we were a medical flight, this was a patient, he just kept talking into his radio. I grabbed his right shoulder with the patch of the American flag on it and yelled at him to speak fucking English. You're in America. Yeah, I was properly handcuffed. So, and I'm probably on a watch list, but no, and no. That is, our police department does not need to have any other language other than English on it, because English is our language. You're in our country. No. So I can be pissed off about it because I'm in public safety. I'm an old grumpy man, but that's just wrong. So go home. If you don't like it, go home. I'm sorry, but I don't care. You don't come here and change our values, because as a flight paramedic, I traveled around the world and I always had to observe the laws, rules, and customs of the host country. So they should do the same and respect ours. They came here for a reason. So, all right, I meant to talk about this yesterday. Transformers Josh Duhamel, he is 70% ready for Doomsday. Yeah. Did you know he was taking on Doomsday? And we don't mean that he's announcing a new project in Marvel. The Transformers star revealed early this year that he has a Doomsday cabin built to withstand a world-ending event should the event come to pass. Well, I've had enough, Josh, 52, told people in an update on his Minnesota sanctuary. Well, same state that other cities in. Not 100%, but 70. Despite living off the grid as much as possible, the Ransom Canyon star admitted his hunting skills need sharpening, as the cans of food won't last forever. I could be a better hunter. I could be a better fisherman, he added. I could stockpile a bit more food supply. The cabin was built by Josh over a 15-year span and placed around 40 miles from the nearest shops. He revealed to Parade previously that he was grateful for the space to get back to basics, away from the demands of modern life. Once we get there, it's really about everybody taking care of everybody, making memories, spending time in family and friends, the actor shared. You're not consumed by all the other distractions when you're out there. It's really about having fun, making sure everybody's warm, everybody's got good food and water. He shares his home, which is over an hour from Fargo, North Dakota, with his wife, Audra Marie, and their son, Shepard, plus Josh's 11-year-old boy, Axel, who he shares with his ex-wife and singer, Fergie. So, while he is building the cabin, the family lived without basic amenities like running water and electricity for a long time. Josh continued to people that although he enjoys making movies and TV shows, he felt he had a calling to make things with his hands. He rose to fame as a model and in music videos, starring as Leo in the long-running American soap opera All My Children. In the early thousands, he pivoted towards the film industry, eventually starring in the Transformers franchise, and then the teen rom-com Love, Simon. Josh's home is an escape from this world of massive technology his day job exists in, but was never initially intended to be a doomsday bunker. The truth is, yes, people want to call it a doomsday prepper thing, but it's really not that, Josh said. I'm really more of a guy who wants to stay true to my roots, get back to the basics, hone whatever basic skills I need. I don't think we're in any dire situation to have to worry about prepping for doomsday, but it is good to have some of those skills. I was getting so far away from it for so long that I felt like I wanted to get back to some of that. Well, so he's almost got his doomsday cabin complete. So there you go. Let's see. Next. All right. Talking about the military in DC, the National Guard, they have paramedics, and they're all carrying an overdose reversal drug called Narcan. So the task force had 25 members are carrying the medication, which reverses the effect of opiate overdoses, common in the civilian medicine. The drug is available for Army medics to carry on patrol. Medics on duty with the National Guard are carrying Narcan, a nasal spray to reverse the drug overdoses that is widely referred to as Narcan. Officials with the task force overseeing the DC mission won't say if those medics have used the drug during patrols, but Guard troops have been present for at least one medical emergency that required it. Carrying Narcan, they are prepared to provide a life-saving aid in the event of emergencies, according to Major Anning, a spokesperson for the Joint Task Force DC. According to the task force, 25 medics are carrying Narcan in Washington. So they are trained in the use, which can be delivered to an unconscious patient as a nasal spray. And it's part of Army medical training and annual refreshers. So surgeons assigned to the battalion level or higher, which include task force. Wow, I didn't know they deployed surgeons. I knew they sent medics. Determine the type of equipment and supplies that the medics carry based on the mission according to the task force. Use of Narcan has become standard care for many emergency medical systems, EMS, for patients experiencing cardiac arrest or are found unconscious. Well, unconscious of unknown etiology. In other words, you don't know why they're unconscious. Beyond EMS, it was widely available without the need for a prescription when it was approved over the counter by the USDA in 2023. You can purchase it in drugstore, convenience stores, grocery stores, and gas stations. Interesting. So the Trump troops are there, and they will provide medical aid if needed. So how about that? That's good news to the citizens. Okay, yeah, just throw them over there. That's fine. Yeah, or put them right there. Either way, I don't care. Just do something with them. So, what is this? Yeah, I don't care. All right. So, how drones, blaring Scarlett Johansson's voice, are helping protect cattle from wolves. What? So we have wolves being protected by singers. Make sure you hit that button right. All right. For millennia, humans have tried to scare wolves away from their livestock, but most of them did not have drones. Now, a team of biologists working near the California-Oregon border, they do, and it's providing them to blast AC/DC's Thunderstruck film clips and live human voices at the predators to keep them away from the cattle. One farmer says, I'm not putting up with this. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Let me start over. I'm not putting up with this anymore. Actor Scarlett Johansson yells in one clip from the 2019 film Marriage Story. With what? I can talk to people, co-star Adam Driver shouts back. Gray wolves were hunted to near extinction throughout the western United States by the first half of the 20th century, since the reintroduction in Idaho at Yellowstone National Park in the 90s. They have proliferated to the point that a population in the Northern Rockies has been removed from the endangered species list. There are now hundreds of wolves in Washington and Oregon, dozens more in Northern California, and thousands more roaming near the Great Lakes. Chris, there's wolves out there. They don't like Scarlett Johansson, so just scream that if you see one. The recovering population has meant increasing conflict with ranchers and increasingly creative efforts by the latter to protect livestock. They've turned to electrified fencing, wolf alarms, guard dogs, horseback patrols, trapping and relocating, and now drones. In some areas where non lethal efforts have failed, officials routinely approve killing wolves, including last week in Washington state. Gray wolves have killed more than 800 domesticated animals across 10 states in 2022, according to an AP Associated Press review of data from state and federal agencies. So there you go. You can play AC/DC and scare the wolves off. So why shouldn't you play Werewolf in London? Wouldn't that be better? Oh, and so overnight, Venezuela decided to, they did the FA. They might want to find out what the FO is all about. Venezuela taunts U.S. Navy and Pentagon fires back. It was a highly provocative move was designed to interfere with counter-narco terrorist operations. Venezuela on Thursday answered a U.S. strike on a suspected running vessel by flying 2 fighter jets over a U.S. destroyer that was conducting anti-narco terrorism patrols off its coast. The 2 armed Venezuelan F-16 fighter jets flew over the USS Jason Dunham, an Aegis guided missile destroyer, in an action that Defense Department officials described as a, quote, show of force. The United States responded on Friday by significantly ramping up its regional military presence by deploying 10 F-35 fighter jets to Puerto Rico, according to Reuters. The Pentagon released a warning on X saying Thursday, today, 2 Maduro regime military aircraft flew near a U.S. Navy vessel in international waters. This highly provocative move was designed to interfere with their counter-narco terror operations. The cartel running Venezuela is strongly advised not to pursue any further effort to obstruct, deter, or interfere with counter-narcotics, counter-terror operations carried out by the United States military. On Tuesday, Secretary of State Mark Rubio confirmed the American strike on the narcotics smuggling boat that reportedly killed 11 people on board. Posting on X today, the USA military conducted a lethal strike in the Southern Caribbean against a drug vessel which had departed from Venezuela, was operating in designated narco terror. It was operated by a designated narco terrorist organization. It occurred against the backdrop of a deepening standoff between President Donald Trump and Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro in early August. Trump froze all the assets from the Venezuelan government, a sweeping action against Marcos' regime in decades, and slapped a $50 million bounty on his head, calling him a global drug trafficker. He responded, Maduro, by mobilizing more than 15,000 troops along the Colombian border, boasting there's no way they can enter Venezuela. Well, FAFO. In August, Trump directed the Pentagon to deploy U.S. troops and warships amid mounting threats to the United States' national security from specially designated narco-terrorist organizations operating in the region. The U.S. Department of Justice in the first Trump administration indicted Maduro and 14 senior officials on charges of narco-terrorism, drug trafficking, money laundering, and corruption in 2020. It alleged a decades-long alliance with the FARC, which is a Marxist guerrilla group once considered one of the most powerful insurgents and narco-terrorist organizations in Latin America, to flood the U.S. with cocaine via the so-called Cartel of the Suns a military-run trafficking network. A $15 million reward was offered for the information leading to Maduro, which we now know is at 50 million. So don't suggest they mess with our Top Gun jets. They won't like the response. And speaking of not liking the response, well, it's coming. Is war the new name for the Department of Defense? President Trump said he wants to name the Department of Defense the Department of War, which was once the agency in charge of the Army, but a formal rebrand would require Congress. As Pete Hegseth, whose current job title is the SecDef, Secretary of Defense, wrapped up a day trip to Fort Benning on Thursday, he turned to a group of reporters who had joined him and said, "Thank you for traveling with the War Department." It was a wink and nod acknowledgement of the Pentagon's most poorly kept recent secret that Hegseth and Trump would like to rename the Department of Defense the Department of War. Within an hour, Hegseth's hint, Trump announced that he was formally launching an effort to rebrand the agency. Whether he can or not is unclear. A president cannot formally rename a department in the executive branch, which are created and funded by Congress. A formal rebrand of any department would require congressional legislation. Congress changed the name of the Veterans Administration to the Department of Veterans Affairs in 1988 when it elevated then independent agency to a cabinet-level department. A new name across the United States military would mean a massive overhaul of literally millions of documents and minty thousands of signs, memos, job titles, and countless other references to the Department, Defense, and memos, official manuals, and online links. The DoD has been writing things for 70 some odd years. That's a large volume of stuff and labels. And for God's help, bust the web links, said Wayne Lee, a military history professor in North Carolina. When Congress congressionally mandated naming commission swap names of Army bases honoring Confederate leaders, the cost of those changes were estimated to be $62.5 million to the American citizens. Number of that order could be in magnitude below if a full rebrand of the entire DoD. Changing names and erasing history cost us $62.5 million. The original Department of War was established by President George Washington, who nominated Henry Knox, the first Secretary of War, under the Articles of the Confederation. Notably, the Navy and Marine Corps were never under the War Department, but were in a separate department of the Navy, and according to U.S. naval history. All military branches were put into new branch by the National Security Act of 1947 under a civilian defense secretary. The act also created the Central Intelligence Agency, a national security agency, and National Security Resources Board, according to the Pentagon's history page. So we're going to change the name, apparently. Let's see. This occurred in Georgia yesterday after we got off the air. Homeland Security officials say 475 people were detained during an immigration raid in Georgia. Savannah, some 475 people were detained during an immigration raid at a sprawling Georgia site where South Korean auto company Hyundai manufactures electric vehicles, according to the Homeland Security official. Stephen Schrank, special agent in charge, Homeland Security Investigations, said at a news briefing Friday that the majority of the people detained were from South Korea. This operation underscores our commitment to jobs for Georgians and Americans, Schrank said. This was, in fact, the largest single-site enforcement operation in the history of Homeland Security investigation. The investigation has been ongoing for several months, with authorities receiving leads from community members and former workers. South Korean Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lee Jae-wood described the number of detained South Koreans as large, though he did not provide an exact figure. He said the detained workers were part of a network of subcontractors, and the employees worked for a variety of different companies on the site. Thursday's raid targeted one of Georgia's largest and most high-profile manufacturing sites, which has been touted by Governor Brian Kemp officials as the largest economic development project in the state's history. Hyundai Motor Group, South Korea's biggest automakers, began manufacturing EVs a year ago at the $7.6 billion plant, which employs about 1,200 people, and is partnered with LG Energy Solution to build an adjacent battery plant slated to open next year. In a statement to the AP, LG said it was closely monitoring the situation and gathering all relevant details. It said it couldn't immediately confirm how many of its employees, our Hyundai workers, were detained. Our top priority is always ensuring the safety and well-being of our employees and partners. We will fully cooperate with the relevant authorities. Hyundai's South Korean office didn't respond immediately for requests and comments. And then they start just going back into the history of what President Trump's doing. And then South Korea supposedly did answer. Let's see what their answer was. They responded. Let's see. This comes to us from breaking news from the Sun. In Seoul, we also conveyed our concerns and regret today through the U.S. Embassy in Korea and urged them to exercise extreme caution to ensure that legitimate rights and interests of Korean citizens are not infringed upon. Okay. So, what to know? Well, they arrested a bunch of people that were from there, but did they make a statement? Don't see one. Apparently, that's what they said. They just said through their embassy they want them to be treated lawfully. Well, they were unlawfully here, so we'll have to see how the embassy works through that. And this comes to us, it's an analysis from NPR talking about how President Trump continues to deploy the National Guard to various cities. Where are we at here? To various cities, despite the questionable legality of doing so. On Tuesday, Trump said he would, quote, love to have Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, a Democrat, call him and request troops, adding that he would gain respect for Pritzker if he asked for them. In response, the governor said, let me be clear. The president is begging me to call him to ask him to do something that we don't want. Speaking in the Oval Office on Wednesday, Trump also floated the idea of deploying troops to New Orleans, where Louisiana Republican governor welcomed the idea. Trump's comments may be a concession that it is legally easier to deploy the National Guard in states where governors formally ask for help, according to Georgetown University law professor. A federal judge in San Francisco ruled on Tuesday that Trump's use of National Guard in June, in response to the anti-immigration enforcement protests in Los Angeles, was illegal. The ruling only applies in California. After the ruling, Trump said he planned to send troops to Chicago. So, judge has written about the president's use of National Guard in one of his, quote, Substack newsletters. Says Trump could attempt to deploy troops to Trump-friendly states that those don't want them, a move that would put the U.S. in, quote, uncharted territory. This interview has been lightly edited, according to the website. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So, it could happen. We talked about this yesterday with AI, and it came up. I'm pretty sure I talked about it here. It may have been on my other show. I get it confused after a while. Donald Trump explains why White House windows cannot open despite a viral video. His explanation of the video contradicted an official statement from the White House. So, if you haven't seen the video, there's a side image of the White House. The window is open, and it appears that they are throwing something out of the window. It's a mysterious bag. Well, some people say that it was created by AI. Well, it appears to show the figure tossing out black bags at the third-story window of the White House. Speaking to the Irish Star, a White House spokesperson explained that it was a, quote, contractor who was doing regular maintenance while the president was gone on Tuesday. However, Trump said it would be impossible to open the window and blamed AI. Trump and his social media team, which includes White House Communications Director Stephen Chung, reportedly frequently use AI to create fantasized versions of the president dressed as superheroes, ultra-muscular soldiers, and even the Pope. I get so tired of that. Among other generated videos and images. There's a video circulating online now, the White House, where a window is open of the residence upstairs and somebody's throwing a bag out. Fox News reporter Peter Doocy asked Trump, "No, that's probably AI," Trump replied. "You can't open the windows. They're heavily armed and bulletproof." But apparently you can. If you follow this channel long enough, you know that I follow a photographer that does a daily news show out of DC. And, well, guess who got the picture? So there you go. Trump said those windows weigh about 600 pounds. My wife was also complaining about the other day. She said she'd love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. In opposition to the president claims, a White House spokesperson told the Irish Star Tuesday it was a worker simply doing maintenance. Remains unclear whether the president or his staff utilizes the room, what the contents of the bag were. Trump went on to express some reservations about AI, despite his own frequent usage of its imaging generating capability. It's the kind of thing they do, he said. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. But also, they create things, it works both ways. Now, this was my conversation and argument about it yesterday, and it was this exact quote by Trump. It's the kind of thing they do, and one of the problems we have with AI. It's both good and bad. I can agree with that. But then he goes on, but also they create things, it works both ways. So my argument is, and was, I maintain, if you use AI and eventually get the citizens used to saying, oh, that's AI, if something real happens that is earth-shattering and they don't want you to know about it and they can suppress the people and the information, they can go online and say, oh, it's AI. So are they trying to precondition us? It's easy to blame AI because a lot of times you don't even know. So that's my question. Are they trying to precondition us for something coming? So, well, here's another area that there's some crime, and apparently it's in AOC's red light district. And local citizens are urging the FBI to end the brothel scourge. Local leaders in New York City, Representative AOC's district, have called on the FBI to finally crush what they call the festering scourge of ruthless foreign gangs pimping women in brothels and pumping drugs into the Queens neighborhood. The tight-knit group has held several separate protests in recent weeks outside what they said are well-known brothels in the Progressive Champions district, where women allegedly solicit sex on the sidewalk before John scurry inside. The brothels are located near the troubled Roosevelt Avenue corridor in Queens, a 2-mile commercial strip which has been plagued with crime, prostitution, and violence. It is also often referred to as the red light district, despite the repeated crackdowns by NYPD. Police told Fox News they have arrested 350 people so far this year for prostitution-related offenses in and around the beleaguered strip. One brothel hides beside a bodega, while another masquerades as a massage parlor. It's a rundown doorway was plastered shut with a shut it down sign at a recent Sunday protest as demonstrators urged the feds to wipe out the seedy cat houses once and for all. We are writing to your agency again, requesting investigation and enforcement action regarding the ever worsening situation on the Roosevelt Avenue corridor. The Restore Roosevelt Avenue Coalition wrote in a recent letter to the FBI. The group advocates for improving the quality of life and ensuring safer streets in the predominantly immigrant neighborhood. The two identified 8 locations they said are known brothels, 7 of which are in AOC's district, while the other is in fellow progressive Representative Grace Ming's district. The group flagged at least 5 street corners where they say sex workers operate. The activists praise police efforts, but insist the problem is so entrenched that only federal intervention can knock the gangs and allow families to live without fear. And if you watched any of my old shows, The Misfits, we used to show a video every now and then that was on the street corner, and you could watch it. You could watch it right from the comfort of your living room. I'm only going to run through this article because Jurgs and I were kind of arguing about this because he claims that Trump is a part of the swamp. Well, my argument with this is, how are Gavin Newsom and ex-wife dated Trump Jr., how are they interconnected? Did you know that his ex-wife dated Trump Jr.? California governor and Democrat governor Gavin Newsom has embraced Trump-style online trolling, targeting Trump and his aides, boasting his poll numbers. His shift from civil messaging to memes and viral content has shaken Republicans and energized Democrats. Adding drama, his ex-wife, Kimberly Guilfoyle, later became Trump Jr.'s fiancée before the couple called off their engagement. So they're all intertwined. Donald Trump rewrote the rules of American politics, weaponizing social media with insults and provocation that turned trolling into a campaign strategy. His Make America Great, MAGA, movement thrived on branding opponents with mocking nicknames and relentless online attacks. While Democrats largely clung to restraint, that's questionable. Now, California Governor Gavin Newsom is breaking from that tradition, arguing it's time for the Democrats to fight fire with fire, embracing with Trump-style trolling. He's sharpening his attacks on the MAGA poll. So we've talked about this before with Governor Newsom, that he employs a social media team that's probably about half his age, and that's what they do. But did you know you can say all you want, he's not a part of the problem, but there you go. They are so in bed together, every single one of these rich people. It's the way it is, and us poor people aren't going to change it. So this comes to us from the U.S. Sun. A lot of my fans have asked, well, what happened after the Annabelle doll handler died while touring with the infamous haunted object? Well, the news comes after a famous comedian has taken legal guardianship of the doll. The cause of death has been revealed. The man who dropped dead this summer while touring with the infamous Annabelle. In July, Dan Riviera was found dead while traveling in the U.S. with the most notable dolls of all times, which many believe to be haunted. Yeah, don't mess with stuff. He was only 54. It was first reported that he had died from an unknown cause in his hotel. It was later revealed he'd been in Gettysburg, a town which many claim to be haunted due to the Civil War battles taking place when he died. He was the center of this family and the pillar of love and strength, Riviera's family wrote in a statement after his death. As a devoted husband, father of 4 sons, and staunchly faithful friend, he always had a quiet source of resilience, strength, and endless hope. He was performing 3 shows in the city, all of which were sold out. Now, months after his death, the coroners released the autopsy, coming to the conclusion that he died from cardiac related issues. Riviera had a history of heart problems and has died from natural causes. The coroner also clarified that the Annabelle doll was not in the room with Riviera at the time of his death. So there you go. You got it. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're running a little behind today. All right, Middle Tennessee. A man threatens to blow up a UT veterinary hospital over his pet spider monkey. Knoxville, right here where I'm at, Tennessee. A Middle Tennessee man is facing charges after police say he threatened to blow up the University of Tennessee's veterinary hospital on River Drive. According to charging documents, officers were called to the hospital after receiving a threat around 5 a.m. Thursday. Authorities say 37-year-old Joseph McDorman called the hospital asking for his pet spider monkey to be seen and subsequently threatened to blow the facility up when he was told he would have to wait until the clinic opened at 7:30 a.m. Specifically, McDorman told the hospital operator, "If my monkey dies, I'm coming up there to blow up the whole effing building." Should I put that in Tennessee? My monkey dies, I'm coming up there to blow up that fucking building. Jesus Christ, only in Knoxville. Charging documents indicate the clinic refused to serve him after he made the threat, and police ran a background check on the phone number, which led them to him. He was charged with harassment and making a threat of mass violence. So, take better care of your monkey, dude. This is an op-ed piece. I'm not even really going to go to it. But apparently, last night's dinner at the high-profile dinner, people were watching Melania, and they say that she was disgusted and that she wanted to stab him. And I'm assuming, by the way that they're drawing the attention to this, that they're talking about the first lady to her husband, Trump. So I'm pretty sure she probably couldn't square off of and do that before Secret Service got to her. But it's asinine that we have a media that reports this. But yeah, the social media and body language people have generated content talking about how she wanted to stab him today. Caitlin Clark, well, she's out for the rest of the WNBA season with an injury. Second year that she's been plagued by injuries. The groin injury she sustained in the game before the All-Star break that ultimately cost her the rest of the 2025 season. Caitlin has worked so hard throughout this time, doing everything possible to recover and return to the court, but ultimately time is not on our side. While we will continue working with Caitlin and provide her with every resource we have available, there's not enough time left in our season for her to safely return, and her long-term health and well-being remains our top priority. We're looking forward to having her back at the full strength at the beginning of the 2026 season. Last night, well, Spitgate began when the NFL opened. It wasn't long before the season opened that we have our very first controversy. Dak Prescott, well, he spit. Then Jalen Carter spit. And this spit for spat is the most attention Saliva has gotten since Hawktua Girl got in her 15 minutes of fame. Carter, the Philadelphia Eagles' outstanding defensive line tackle, did the right thing after he was ejected from Thursday's regular season kickoff game by waiting in the locker room afterwards, a wait that spanned into Tuesday morning because the game was at one point delayed by lightning. So he says, "I made a mistake." All right, that's good. He faces an NFL fine and maybe a suspension for the spitting incident. In a year, the NFL is emphasizing sportsmanship and respect for the opponent, going so far as sending teams a video for the NFL Vice President of Operations, Troy Vincent, outlining what is unacceptable behavior. It's possible the league will make an example of Kim. Working in his favor, he handled the matter well after the game. He not only stuck around for his team to finish the 24-20 season opening victory, but also waited to speak with reporters too, and he showed some contrition. It's a mistake. It happened on my side. It won't happen again, so I feel bad. Just my teammates and the fans out there. I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for my family also. But the fans, they showed the most love. You heard them out there today. Just not being able to finish or start the game even, well, it just effed me up. I got to do better. It won't happen again. Well, turns out he may have just been replying back. Well, did he just lose his head or did something set him off? Well, and what you see on NBC cameras, see Prescott spitting at the ground in Carter's general direction. Then he made eye contact with Carter, who was retreating but stopped stepping back when Prescott spit, and then seemingly smiled at him. That's when Carter advanced towards the Dallas quarterback, and Prescott similarly advanced towards Carter. Then came the disqualifying spitting by Carter. Prescott's version of events is that after the opening kickoff, the Dallas offense and the Eagles defense, we were on the opening kickoff of the NFL season, and we start off this way. Dallas offense and the Eagles defense were on the field, and Carter began trolling around the Dallas huddle, trying to mess with rookie guard Tyler Booker. I was just looking at Carter, Prescott said. I guess I need to spit. Instead of spitting on my lineman, I spit at him. That's when the confrontation happened because Carter advanced on Prescott. It's always the way it is. They get the second guy. He said, "You trying to spit on me?" Prescott returned at that point. I thought, like, was he insulting me? I wouldn't spit on somebody. I'm damn sure not trying to spit on you. I'm about to play a game. I'm wondering why you're trying to mess with a rookie. So I actually said the word why. Why the hell? And it was probably a little more colorful, but why would I need to spit on you? And he just spat on me in that moment. It was more a surprise than anything, and the ref saw it and threw a flag. Prescott said he didn't realize Carter was disqualified and added it was unfortunate. Carter, who got a talking to from quarterback Jalen Hurts, among others afterwards, didn't claim he was provoked by Prescott, but didn't dismiss the notion either. I don't try to do nothing out of the ordinary. I feel I'd done something back just provoking, he said, but there's something out there. Y'all will see it. Carter said he'll now focus on next week. Someone may eventually explain to him this isn't just going to disappear in the coming weeks, something that apparently Prescott already understands, something that's probably going to get a lot of coverage and attention because, well, they're the nation's team. Feel sorry for him. I know how excited each and every one of us were to kick off the NFL season, and, well, it didn't go down perfectly. So let's see. So we'll cover this real quick. Well, get ready to rumble at the White House. The UFC cage match is being planned. Well, the White House is having an octagon fight and coming to the South Lawn next year, scheduled for June of 2026 before the 250th birthday celebration. So UFC at the White House represents a new era, one that celebrates the youth of strongman in sharp contrast to the Biden-Harris regime years, when all things woke projected from the White House lawn, including transgenders featuring fake body parts. Yeah, they were parading around topless during the Easter parade or whatever it was once. So now we're strong men build nations, weak men destroy them, and so now the octagon will be set for next June. Tonight, in case you're interested, the Kansas City Chiefs will be playing the Los Angeles Chargers in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Now, if this was a regular season game, you wouldn't be able to see it, but since it's the out-of-country game and a season beginning game, You can watch it free on YouTube, but later you're going to have to pay $50 a month to have ESPN, ABC, NBC, CBS, and the NFL Network to watch the games. So be ready to open your pocketbook if you want to watch NFL football. So the WWE SmackDown is also this weekend, September 5th. Well, it seems to be the perfect day for CM Punk to bring back fan favorite, his wife, in case you didn't know, AJ Lee, to the WWE. So apparently, what transpired a short period of time ago, that he was CM Punk, he was in a match, and another wrestler decided to keep slapping him, and he told her that, well, something's going to happen to you, Becky. It was Becky Lynch, and she claims that she got his gross ball sweat over her arm as she delivered a low blow to help pin and retain the retain the world heavyweight championship. But she kept rubbing it in and kept slapping him in the face over and over again. He restrained himself and said, "Becky is going to regret putting her hands on me." On his way out of the building, CM Punk learned that Raw GM Adam Pearce that tonight's episode of SmackDown takes place in his hometown, Chicago. He smiled and said, "That's tremendous. Putting all the pieces together, it certainly seems that CM plans to bring his wife, AJ, to SmackDown tonight to make her WWE return official. If Becky Lynch happens to show up on the blue brand tonight, well, then you know for sure something's happening. It's the timing perfect for AJ Lee to return to the WWE in Chicago." So tune in to the WWE if you're interested in seeing her return. All right, let's see if FEMA got busy while we were busy. Apparently they didn't. Well, it appears that FEMA did not update. We have Thursday, September 4th update, which we talked about yesterday. So we'll check the president's schedule real quick. 9 a.m. was the in-pool call time for the media. And then Kevin